And we are now officially recording the next episode of Not With That Attitude podcast. This time we have a guest star.
It's like, oh god, what are we at? This is 4, right?
4, yeah.
Could be 4, yes. Oh my god.
Right?
Uh,
We're at 4.
Somehow, some way.
Yep.
it's like, yes, today we are joined by myself, Nick, Tick, MZ, and special guest Pangu.
Oh, good.
Too many specials in front of that statement.
All the specials.
We're starting off great.
Mostly because she's elusive as hell.
Exactly.
Elusive.
She had to think really, really hard before coming in here today.
I did.
It's like, well, once again, it falls to me to get things started here. All right, so, one thing I want to talk about with you guys. So, just like animation, specifically in cinema, movies, TV, like that whole industry.
Okay.
Where do you guys think it's heading, or where do you want it? What direction do you want it to go in? Want to get some of your thoughts on like the big name studios out there. So I kind of want to start with let's start with the studio. So the big hitters obviously know Disney, Pixar, DreamWorks, all of them, Illumination. Disney in fucking particular, they just had their 100th anniversary, this past week.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, dude. So, as I'm sure most of us all of us are familiar, like over the past decade or so,
right,
they've been on the decline. No, occasional no hits here and there, but for the most part, they've been on a pretty consistent decline. So, do you think it's time for them to hey, all right, pull the plug? I'm sorry, Grandpa, we got to pull the plug.
Yeah,
let's let these younger studios know, rise up, take your place, and let's see what they can do. Or
I don't even know if it's that so much as they need to return to their roots.
Yeah, I feel like Disney has potential still. It's just the problem is they're basically pandering to an entire thing of the premise that everyone wants all these cool remakes and stuff. And the worst part is there's idiots out there who actually praise them, despite how terrible half of them are. Not even half,
and they're
90%.
too focused on the live action stuff now. So they're not really advertising their animated stuff as much as they used to. They're advertising
Wish has gotten basically no coverage, even though I'm I'm excited for Wish.
Yeah, that one looks really cute.
Good. So I'm excited for it, but it's gotten basically no coverage whatsoever compared to all the live action stuff.
Right.
And I didn't even realize that Elementals had come out.
Yeah, right?
I did not know until I think somebody said that they had seen it and they thought it was really cute. I was that came out? Okay.
Yeah, and then how Strange World also got no coverage. People still don't know that exists for some reason. They did nothing for it, so.
Yeah, they're not advertising correctly, and I think they need to kind of go back to 2D and do it correctly.
See, what I'd like is either 2D, and I don't really mind the more 3D, not the full CGI, but I mean just the more 3D cartoony still style animation they've been doing with some of their movies. I don't mind that because they've still been making some decent ones with that. Just I would like to see more 2D though. Again, just go like Emzy says, go back to those roots.
Okay,
that's where it was at for me.
Okay, so you wouldn't want them to hang up their proverbial hat, as it were. You want them to know, all right, take a step back, redirect. You need to take a good long look in the mirror. It's hey, this shit ain't working.
Right.
I also want them to allow more younger creatives to create stories.
Right.
Because I feel they're set they're oh, we still have John Lasseter. Let's let him make more stuff.
Yeah.
And it's yes, he has made some great movies and great animations, but you have new talent that can create
all this new
stories.
talent that they're not tapping into. It's okay, sure, you can have the old guys in the background. They can maybe put their stuff in the background, but don't let them lead anymore. All right, I'm sorry, let the old people die. Okay,
right.
I'm sorry.
Right, and then here's another thing too for me is it's more I'd like to see them actually touch on subjects in a tasteful manner that normally it can be pretty deep or stuff. not just like censor every little fucking thing because they think, because everyone's turning into a goddamn weenie these days. I want them to actually touch on things, more, and just be willing to like expose kids to the reality of life without necessarily making it too harsh either. But just enough where like a kid can kind of grasp that, and an adult can be like, oh wow, like that was done pretty well, kind of thing.
Yeah, 100%.
Like they did pretty well with what was that movie with the two brothers?
Oh, damn it.
It was dealing with like his grief of.
The two blue elf brothers.
Onward.
Yes,
Onward.
Thank you.
Onward, thank you.
Like they did pretty well with that.
Yeah, that
and
was
like
okay.
dealing with the grief of dealing with like I knew a different version of your dad than you did.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was okay. Or even with like Princess and the Frog dealing with her work ethic and how that was working against her.
Right. Like I'd like them to actually touch on subjects that make sense to touch on and like teach important lessons about life. Now.
Right.
Like take for example, like that cartoon Bluey, that with the fucking blue healers and all that. Yeah, like that. So I've heard a lot about that, and I watched a bit myself, and it does really well on touching on important and somewhat mature subjects without while still making it kid friendly and providing an important lesson about like life.
Not necessarily not necessarily talking down to younger people and dumbing it down overly.
Right. They're like making it a serious thing where like you actually can understand what they're going about there, but they're not like just being flat out like this this happened XYZ and blah blah. Now you deal with it. And it's like
it kind of harkens back to 90s educational television in a way.
Yeah.
Because like it's not super direct, but it's direct enough that you know what they're getting at.
Right, and it's done in a way that, at least with Bluey, that like kids can sort of understand that too. Those lessons.
Okay. Yeah. Because I can definitely see that. Because especially if you look back at like I don't know if Steven Universe was necessarily the first to kind of like get that trend going.
Yeah, I think it's the most recognized, if anything.
Yeah, for sure. Because like when I watched it, like season 1 was like, okay, that was very goofy and kidded, but like but then by like season 2 and onward, it was like, okay, now we're now we're getting it, okay.
Right. It's like that was definitely one of the most recognizable ones when it comes to the cartoons that actually started like doing proper life lessons and stuff like that.
Yeah, right.
And like I actually I appreciate that kind of thing in media because I think it's 100%. Important for kids to grow up and have those kind of life lessons taught to them in a tasteful way that works for children.
Talk to them as an adult.
Right.
It's like
it basically voices
as an adult, but just not as somebody that's stupid.
Yeah, because like that's the thing with like most American media now is like they make it out where like our kids are fucking morons. It's like no, they're not. They're a lot smarter than like people give them credit for. Just like
we create the idiocy.
Yeah, basically.
That's the problem.
Like, and I have no doubt part of that is on purpose because of those whole system, but that's a whole different topic we can get into.
Right.
That's a deep that we don't want to get into.
Disney is such a powerful. It has such a powerful platform, right?
Right.
I mean, they have dipped their hands into so much of modern media and modern franchising. I mean, they're worth over like $150 billion.
Yeah.
Disney is in a position where they can do whatever they want to do.
Exactly.
And they are not going to always listen to what everybody wants.
Yeah.
They're kind of in this awkward stage where, because us, in our 20s and 30s, the Disney that we grew up with, the animation we grew up with, is something completely different to what the kids now are growing up with.
Right.
So they're torn in this middle ground where, and I think this ties into why they make so many of these live action remakes, they're trying to hold on to those older Disney kids to try to bring them back in, to hit that nostalgia factor.
They know they have not peaked since the Renaissance back in the 90s.
Right, and that's the thing too, is like in their attempts to hold on to that with all those live actions, they don't realize that we enjoy the more animated stuff way more than any of the live actions just about.
Mm-hmm.
There's only been like a very small fraction of those live actions that have actually been decent.
Right.
Like and then you do tie into them them changing things, right? Because everything these days has to be
right.
politically correct, for lack of better terms,
right.
In order to try to protect those kids. And perhaps some of that is brought on by people our generation and maybe in their 40s and 50s who have these kids,
right.
and they want their kids to be protected. So then we get mad because things change from the way that we know it
right.
as it could go so many ways.
It's an awkward position.
Disney. Yes.
Yeah.
And you're never going to make everybody happy. So they're going to do what makes them the most money.
Yeah.
And tries, I think, to keep people
complacent. They are a business. Yeah, they are a business at the end of the day.
So you got to think like a business at the end of the day. It's like if it makes you money, then it doesn't matter. Be politically correct and all that stuff, even if it upsets a small fraction of the fan base.
Right.
But there are a lot of these newer, like Onward was a great example.
Yeah.
I loved Onward.
Right.
It hit me in a way that I think a Disney movie hadn't hit me in a really long time. Like, movies do not make me cry. Onward made me cry. It hit that one thing that it needed to hit, and it touched that dark subject, but it did it in a very good, fun way. It was a good story.
Yeah.
And it definitely did not get the recognition that it deserved.
Right.
You know what? We've got, 3 Frozens now coming out?
Yeah,
I don't give a shit about Frozen.
Right, like,
I don't give a shit.
I won't deny that Frozen, both of them were actually pretty good. I did enjoy them enough, but
same here.
They're not a top priority to me.
Run its course.
No.
I like other stuff. I like stuff that
The lesser known, newer, original stories do not get the publicity that they deserve.
Because they're trying to milk their biggest things, which unfortunately is things like Frozen and whatnot. And, it's getting to a point where I'm like, listen, we need to stop milking the things that are already there and just make new stuff, because you have the power to and the minds to do that.
And that ties into what the original question was: getting all of these new new animators,
the new creatives,
get new ideas, new creativity into the business, and let it show and see. You have to be bold and you have to take risks. Throw something at the wall and see what sticks. Maybe something will turn out really great, but they're going to keep hashing out the same things because they know it works. It's a cookie cutter formula. It works.
Okay, see, now let me pivot off of that to God damn it, what studio was that? DreamWorks. So Puss in Boots, The Last Wish.
Yeah. Right.
So
very good movie.
Yep.
So initially,
it's a slightly different
hold on. So before that came out, I would have absolutely kind of probably lumped them in with Disney as okay, take a backseat, guys. Let's bring some new blood in. But they took a chance. They kind of followed Spider-Verse's examples. Okay, let's turn this animation on its head, try something different, and it fucking blew up. So
it was amazing.
Yeah, they created something in a different manner than their usual way that they've been doing.
But also, that franchise is a different demographic than literally every Disney demographic is.
Right.
So it's easier for them to take that risk on that kind of movie.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas,
100%.
Disney, if say they were to change Frozen entirely, like they did with the Puss in Boots, Last Wish, I can almost guarantee you would have a huge amount of outrage, very unnecessary outrage, but huge outrage nonetheless.
Because it's not as pretty. It's not as quote unquote pretty.
Right.
It's not that it's not pretty. I think they're going more towards that realistic style.
Right. They had that very realistic but animation flashy style.
Well, I'm saying pretty, but that's just because I'm lacking another good word. But it's not as clean and crisp and stylized as a Disney movie would be.
Mm-hmm. So kind of backing up a little bit, so would you say Disney would benefit more, maybe not necessarily going back to their roots, but just changing their demographic? Not limiting their demographic like they have been for the past 100 fucking years.
Yeah, I feel like it could be a case where there's a lot of influence from a lot of it, really. You just sprinkle a little bit of all of that into there, and do it in a way that works well. I feel like that could be important to it, but again, it's
I think a little bit of both.
Make money,
Yeah.
Because I feel like, one, we are the biggest demographic that is feeding into it, because we're the ones that are having kids now. We're the ones that are buying everything
into this media.
Yes.
So part of it, yes, we could be benefiting from, say, a different style, but I also feel like because we are so nostalgic for the original renaissance of Disney art.
Yeah.
I feel like going back to that drawing board and going back to that style would also really help too.
Yeah, because then it would really excite us to show it to, the kids of the next generation that we are.
It doesn't necessarily have to be a permanent change either.
Yeah, just
no,
you can dip your hands into different styles.
Right. Well, no, because like when they went back to Princess and the Frog, that movie, I loved that movie. Mm-hmm. But I also loved Tangled, which came out like right around the same time. Right. Like I think within a couple years of each other.
Yeah.
And completely different styles.
Right.
Loved both of them.
So I mean, I would say overall, just like obviously, try a bunch of different styles, old, new, whatever. But I would say the main thing is they gotta fucking stop rehashing. Like take a chance on new shit, on new stories, new characters, new ideas.
Right.
I don't care what animation style you put in, whether it's live action, 2D, 3D. I don't care what style it's in. We need new stories.
They can afford to be a little risky.
Right.
My thing is, I would love. They love to draw from folklore from all over the world, different fairy tales.
That's where they started.
I would fucking love for them to go to India or Africa or
I'm sure there's no stories that they have not
more
yet.
Cultures involved because there's a lot of interesting stuff in cultural stuff. Like, make me a fucking movie about cryptids for all I care. Like, I'll watch like the the movie about like the Mothman versus I don't know whatever like the Mothman versus like the Beast of Bodmore. I don't know like just do something different in that.
And I think that's what flopped with me with Oh, the Last Dragon one.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Raya.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's what flopped with me. They tried, but they didn't do like the same kind of style they would with everything else. They didn't throw in music. They didn't throw in the right kind of cohesive story around it.
Right.
And it was kind of like it was pretty, and I liked it, but it wasn't something that I would necessarily go back to watch a bunch of times.
Right. It's what they did with Raya is they tried too hard, and I mean way too hard, to pander to what I like to just call at this point the stupidity humor. The case of like LOL fart jokes and dumb stuff.
Aquafina
like
being there, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just like they tried way too hard to pander to that level of like that level of things, and it just didn't work out in its favor in the end. Like there were still some great merits about the movie, like no doubt, but there's also like they could have done way better on it, and if they had just given that touch of Disney magic that they usually have, I felt like it would have been a significantly better movie.
Because Asian culture is so interesting, and there's so many different places they could have drawn from and added stuff to. Like the fact that they just pulled that and then kind of just slapped everything together, and were like, "Here, have a funny-looking dragon with a funny voice and doing funny things, and a girl that can kick ass." Okay,
right?
And I'm like, no, it just doesn't do anything.
And see, one big thing with Disney that I don't mind is like the expansion of lore on different movies. So, like, for example, like they've had like all the stuff about like Cruella, for example. How they have made that.
Yes.
Yes. I didn't mind that because like I appreciated the expansion of lore on her character.
Exactly.
And I feel like with the whole like for example the new Mufasa the Lion King, like I'm curious about that. Not really all that excited for the expressionist,
like a little apprehensive, but still curious. And they're building on the lore of this franchise we do like.
And that's what I appreciate.
It's not the same story again.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what they canonically develop for Mufasa and Scar. Mm-hmm. And not only that, but also it's like I feel like if honestly I would prefer them to do like a more 2D style, or hell, even just do that 3D style they've been doing, and just Lion Kingify it. But
right,
you can whatever. Like I
don't know if I trust them to do that with that. That's the only thing.
Well, because I think like Tig mentioned earlier, like again, Jungle Book, like great example, because like hyper realistic, but they still took some liberties with the facial animations of the animals to make them sure you could still emote with them, you could still grasp what they're emoting and whatnot.
Right, like they actually made the animals express themselves.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be a nature documentary.
Yeah, because here's the thing too: is like the Lion King, like it was like all the expressions they made were very subtle, despite the fact that even with that, like lions in real life had like a much wider range of facial expressions because that's part of how they communicate.
Right.
Like they could have so done way better about that.
No, everyone's just meowing at each other.
Yeah,
That's
cause
all
like
it
it's,
looks like.
it's like a little like because like here's the thing is like all they did like when you had like the really angry lion, all you really had was just that little like lip like barely pulling up to show like a tiny little bit of the teeth. When in reality you could probably just have like a full on like like whole snarl. Like snarl, yeah. Or like teeth everywhere, and that's it, and stuff like that. Like they did nothing about that.
Because like my brain will like always go back to a face that Baloo makes in the live action one, where I think what did Bagheera say? Oh, I didn't know sloth bears worked, and like little backhanded comment, and Baloo just gives him that eyebrow lift at him. It's like I love that face.
Right, and see that's the thing too is like even sure I don't think a bear could obviously do that, but it still makes sense to put into that kind of thing.
Right.
Like I don't need the hyper realism. I just want the like it's cool if they look realistic-ish, but just give me some expression on the animals. Let them do things that they
little boy raised by
do.
wolves and raised by wolves, a bear and a panther. There's nothing realistic about this. Who gives a fuck?
Exactly, that's it. Like, you can make the bear look like a bear, but like at least let him do stuff like raise that eyebrow or things like that.
Because it's still at the end of the day, it's still a kids movie,
right?
And a kid's not going to understand subtle expressions like that.
Right.
Without like explanations.
Right. Or like a pretty good example I enjoyed was the CGI they did in Call of the Wild, because they still made the dog express in various ways. You could very much tell his mood, his and how he was feeling by the way they made his face shape or like turn or like things like that in the body.
Right.
I think that was basically a really good way to do a realistic-ish looking CGI animal, but still make it expressible.
Yeah.
Something where, like 100%. You can understand what the character's feeling instead of just like blank stare lion like speaking in an angry tone.
Because dogs themselves are very expressive.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
And to be fair, like the expressive capacity of like different animals varies, but it's still like again, it's like you said, it's a movie. Like you can go ahead and just do whatever you want.
Right.
I'm trying to think what other movies.
Yeah.
Like,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Like the Guardians movies.
Yeah.
Or movies with Jack Frost.
Gahul or
Santa. Rise of the Guardians.
Rise of the Guardians. Okay.
That style I would even appreciate coming back with
Was that no wait what that
was DreamWorks?
Was it?
Yeah, that was
DreamWorks.
DreamWorks, yeah.
DreamWorks. Okay. That style I would like for Disney to take with like the cartoonish sized bodies and like the weird proportions, like that I would take from them and be okay with like any kind of movie.
Right.
But it's neither here nor there.
Yeah, and of course, just every once in a while, I wouldn't mind having a situation where they throw back to just like the classic hand-drawn 2D stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Or claymation. Oh, I would love a fucking claymation movie.
Yeah, we don't get much claymation anymore.
Yeah, like I really enjoy.
They're labor-intensive and expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, although I say that, but we are getting that sequel to Chicken Run.
Right. Yeah, it's like I wouldn't mind claymation. Now that being said, claymation isn't really my favorite, but it's definitely a fun one.
Love it.
It's a fun one for sure.
Right.
I love claymation movies. I was in the Gifted and Talented program because ADHD had to have something.
Yeah.
And one of the things we studied before I had to move was different animation styles, and claymation was the one that we focused on in my group, and it was so fascinating the amount of time and effort it takes to do a claymation movie. I fell in love with it. I was like, this is so awesome. I love how much effort it takes to move just things like so minusculely and make sure that a shot gets done. I would love that.
Things like lighting is very important too, and there's like so much things that can go into claymation.
Right.
Yeah.
Factors that can like completely halt production at that.
It's fascinating and it's fun. Thank you for allowing my nerd moment.
What about opinions on, because it's not just Disney and DreamWorks, smaller, all right, Amazon, Netflix, other streaming services starting to get into.
I was going to bring those up. Yeah.
Producing new creators, new content. Thoughts on what those styles are? Yes, no.
What was the one that we watched, Tick?
What?
What was the one that we watched with the
plot
girl?
Summary. There's a lot of things we watch with girls.
The girl. Shut up. The girl with in the other. It was a different planet.
Yeah.
There was a gay guy.
Okay.
Klippo.
Oh, Kipo and the Age of
Kipo.
Wonders.
That one was so good.
Yeah.
Kipo
was really well done because also they had an entirely new world that they created.
It was so good.
Yeah.
And the animation style was really good.
Right, and then there's another one that we watched too that was like it wasn't like exactly like Kipo, but there's like another one too that I know we really enjoyed. I think we watched it around similar fashion as Kipo. But also
Dragon Prince?
No, well, it wasn't that, but also Dragon Prince is definitely a huge one. Dragon Prince has been a great one.
Yeah, Dragon Prince, Vox Machina, yeah.
Yeah, Vox Machina was a great too.
Mm-hmm.
Iron Mouse is a great animation studio.
Yeah.
What was the other one? Yeah, now I'm gonna fucking be annoyed because I can't remember it.
Something similar nature to Kipo. Well, not like plot wise, but like similar nature in how it was animated and done, like in a really unique world. But
we're gonna have to go look for it.
Yeah, but like Dragon Prince 2 was also a really good one, and like they had that like very, like I guess you could say almost
it's 3D.
Like, it was 3D, but it was like semi-blocky. It was like it's sort of like similar fashion to Ruby.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
Almost.
Not quite, but like very similar fashion to how
it's like updated looked. Ruby.
Yeah, basically, and like that was nice. It's like. I really enjoyed Dragon Prince, and I'm, of course, still looking forward to more of that.
It should be coming out within the next year, I think.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah, because season 5 should be the next one, right? Yeah.
Is it 5 or 4?
No, 4, I think. Hold on. Dragon Prince July 27th, 2023. Wait, what?
Wait, what?
July 27th, 2023, Dragon Prince for its 5th season. Wait. Okay.
So it's already... Excuse me.
It already came and went. You idiots missed it?
Yeah, I moved before, so I know for a fact we haven't watched it yet. Because the only Dragon Prince I've watched MC with has been, solely in Iowa. So, okay, well, I know what we got to do later, eventually.
Okay.
We need to catch up.
We do. This is important.
Right? Damn.
Completely missed it.
Right?
I'm upsetty spaghetti. I don't have Netflix, which is why I would not know.
But yeah, no, I'm glad you brought those up. So because initially going in this, I'm like, okay, because we have no lesser known indie studios on your Netflixes, your Amazon Prime,
right.
Whatever other streaming platforms. So it's like, part of me again wants to all right, old timers, take a step back. Let's bring these up and get them even bigger platform to get these smaller studios to shine and get their works out there.
Right, because they've been doing good work, like a big one, of course, is Nimona.
Nimona, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Like the big thing with Nimona is like it wasn't necessarily like in terms of its plot and like stuff like that. It was nothing outstanding. It had a lot of loopholes, but like in terms of just the characters, that's where it really
the delivery,
stood out
right?
Most.
Yeah.
It had very enjoyable characters and like a lot of like nice stuff regarding them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that went through so much production hell. It was very. I think it got canceled like 3 times. But no, we got it. It's like, no, I ain't dead.
Right, and another thing I've been really enjoying on a similar fashion is like the sudden rise, like absolute resurgence of paleo documentaries.
Yeah, for sure.
And other things like on other series too, like Apple TV and all that jazz. Wolfwalkers. That was actually a pretty incredible one.
I have not heard of that one.
Yeah, it was a very like nice, like almost chalky styled 2D animation. And it just like it was definitely a really
that okay.
It was really cool
that.
looking, and like it was fun to watch.
I meant to watch it, but I completely forgot. Okay, yeah.
Definitely well worth the watch.
Yeah, because that was on my radar for a bit too. Okay.
Noted.
But going a little further on smaller studio. So like even now not on Play Platform, like go like just YouTube stuff that we've been having for the past few years now. with like just the free anime content we've gotten on there, like long form animation shows we've gotten on there now. Because obviously you have your Hell of a Boss that's been going for years now, and then we're finally getting Has Been in January, and then more recently, I think I got what was it, Murder Drones? I got into a couple months ago, and then what else did Glitch? And Glitch just dropped the Amazing Digital Circus because like, holy shit, dude!
Right.
Holy shit, dude! It's like, what are you doing, big companies? You look at this amazing talent you have here.
Right, but even like the stuff that isn't necessarily all the very like overly popularized people, like like Vivzi's great and all. Like I love her animation, but she's like she's basically yesterday's news. Like we get it, everyone fucking loves her. But let's hear about things like Kyoryu, for example.
Right,
let's get more cover on things like that, or Soria, like all that kind of stuff. I want to see more coverage for like even smaller ones, the ones that aren't like just absurdly popular.
Right. Yeah, because again, it was like I wouldn't call it necessarily a renaissance, but we definitely have like a significant rise going on.
Right.
Like just small groups of people getting together, making these passion projects, and putting them out on YouTube. And it's like, hey, we made this thing.
Right.
Enjoy.
Yeah, and another one I actually enjoyed recently that I came across was The Hatchling.
The Hatchling.
So it was a little like dinosaur video thingy that it's the Hatchling, at least for the, I guess I'm not sure if they're going to be multi-episode. I assume so, but anyway, the thing about it was like I guess there was something with like dinosaur hunters or whatever, and it was like a thing where basically what Dominion would be normally doing, like where dinosaurs living up in our world, and it was a Dinokairos chick, and they had to get it back to their parents. Yeah. So
okay, I remember seeing the thumbnail for that. Okay.
Yeah, and despite like being like a smaller project, with like barely known, like it had really good CGI and stuff for the dinosaurs.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah.
But the thing with that is like the reason they are going to YouTube and not big companies is one, the funding
obviously
is there, but
yeah,
right.
Is
those old timey execs are gonna be like, no, make it this way. Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
No,
they're gonna basically just take what
they're gonna fucking hijack it. Yeah.
Like if Netflix
Most
were to take over Hell of a Boss, I feel like there would be a lot of shit that just like gets completely ruined.
Right. Yeah, because now that's going to be, because I think it was initially going to be on Netflix, but now it's going to be on Amazon Prime. So I'm interested to see how it's going to turn out.
Right.
But what was I thinking on? Oh, double backing to the bigger studios, Illumination. So obviously, Mario movie that we got this year. Right. So I think
I
100%
on that movie.
Yeah. So 100%, if not for Nintendo, over their shoulder, like looking over, like bearing down on them, is like, hey, we're not gonna let you fuck this up. We're gonna be with you every step of the way.
Right.
I can guarantee you, it would not have been as good as it was.
Right. If we actually had like the initial creator and studio behind the actual media that's being translated into a movie, calling all those shots, it would be significantly better for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like honestly, I'm just kind of upset that they didn't just add in, straight up Mario and Donkey Kong and all that jazz music into the movie itself.
That would have been so much better.
Like, I guess some of the music was okay to have, and I wasn't I wasn't generally against it, but it didn't sometimes it didn't feel right, and I felt like it would have been way better off if they just chosen actual Mario music, and even if they had to just remaster it or remix it or something, I don't know, but
yeah, because you have this whole ass catalog, use it.
Right. And the Sonic movie turned out well, honestly, for what it was.
It was like first movie was but then they definitely were huge step in the right direction on the second movie.
Yeah, and it's still very much like a more of a pandering movie, where it panders just to the fans who are diehards, but it still had its merits. There's something I could say a lot about things like the plot and yada yada, and how it just and just a lot of things that could be critical, but at the same time it had a lot of merits too.
Yeah, right.
And there are things that they did nicely that I really enjoyed. And that's the thing too, is I think movies like that don't need to necessarily have a full plot. And that's kind of my problem with the Sonic movies. They tried to make it have too much of a plot.
Yeah, right, because you take one look at Mario and Sonic, because you know what you're gonna fucking get.
Right, it's a case of
you know what you're gonna fucking get. Yeah, you don't have to try hard for it, okay?
Right, it's like for example in Mario, they had a general plot idea, but they didn't necessarily pander heavily on trying to force that as the main focus of the movie. They focused on a lot of the references, the fandom,
Easter eggs all over the place.
Yeah.
Yep.
They did it in a way where,
and that was
more
the point.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, when movies like that, like, the plot should be secondary, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like...
No, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, and it's because, like, when things like that come out, it's that are more, that they are based off of games or stuff that have a very loose plot or something like that. That's the case of, like, I'm like, plot, definitely, I really don't care if plot's secondary. I just want to see all the fun stuff. And that's the thing that Mario movie did well, is they made it fun.
Exactly.
Like, it didn't take itself too seriously like Sonic tried to.
Yep. Yeah, because like I'm just hoping it's like, because really when it comes to Sonic, the only human character we care about is Eggman. We don't need any more than that.
Right.
You don't need any others.
Right. And like that's a nice thing too about the second movie though, is I think they learned from that, and like I noticed they definitely didn't take itself too seriously in the second movie. At least as much as they did in the first.
I mean, because they still had the whole unnecessary wedding shenanigans,
right? It's like
scene, which they could completely take it out,
right?
But at least it was a good deal less in the first movie,
right? And then like then of course you have all the stuff with like the sudden like, oh, this is our teaser for our next one, so I'm looking forward to the having Shadow around in the third.
I swear to God, if they don't have fucking City Escape theme and Live and Learn in that movie.
I feel like that would be key to having him in that movie.
Where the fucking God?
And then, so now another thing though I'm curious about is what the fuck are they going to do with Yoshi?
That is true.
Yeah. Did we get word on if he's going to have like an actual proper voice actor for that, or?
I don't know, actually. I think it's been pretty radio silent about the whole Yoshi teaser for a while.
It'd be weird for him to have a voice, though.
Right, because I'm trying to think back in past games where I don't think Yoshi's had any proper dialogue, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, I don't believe so, which, honestly, I don't mind. Like, I feel like if they did it in the right way, they could actually make a really good movie about Yoshi without needing dialogue from Yoshi himself or those around him.
Right, just keep it to his signature Yoshi noise.
I mean, like,
I mean, we have Wally.
Right, just basically make it like like Wally or like an animal movie. Like you don't need dialogue to understand.
Yeah, he's the animal sidekick.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's a big thing too. So like, I'm definitely curious about what they're gonna do in terms of like a Yoshi movie.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think well, wait. Do we know if it's? We don't know if it's Yoshi standalone, do we?
Right. We don't necessarily know that yet. I mean, based on like how
that would be really hard to do.
Yeah, it really would, honestly. So I'm kind of hoping at least the teaser is more like maybe it's a continuation of the Mario movie.
Yeah, but better just have them know joining whatever adventures Mario and Luigi and the rest of them get into in the second movie. Yeah.
Yeah, like some kind of like focus on Yoshi's, as the species or whatever. I don't know, something like that, but. I feel like they definitely. I don't think Yoshi alone could make for a good movie.
No, absolutely not. I mean, hey, you never know. I mean,
yeah.
Nintendo, who knows what they got up their sleeves?
Right.
But but yeah, like going back to just Illumination in general, because like again, looking at their catalog over the past few years, because like again, what was it? Despicable Me 1 and 2, actually I enjoyed, especially the first one.
Right.
I actually don't even remember what happened to the third one.
Right. The third one was just kind of like a blur, but the 1 and 2 were admittedly quite enjoyable. Like, yeah. I definitely found myself like laughing sometimes and like just finding something silly or funny. I'm like, that's actually pretty good. you know?
Were they the ones who did the Sing movies? Sing 1 and 2?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Illumination did Sing.
Yes, they did.
Okay. They did. Okay.
Yeah, I Sing was definitely not anything that stood out to me heavily, but there were enjoyable moments that I actually thought were pretty good. Like there were definitely some witty things. I'm like, okay, that's got I got to give it credit there.
Right.
And I did enjoy the music.
I have to admit, a lot of their movies, there's nothing that draws me in enough to give me the desire to watch them.
Right.
That's the problem I have with them. They're probably fine movies, but there's nothing that stands out. Yeah, within my other than did they not do
what?
Which one?
Did they do Minions?
Yeah, they did.
That is Minions, yeah.
Yes.
That spin-off from Despicable Me. Yeah.
Correct. Those are okay, but it's not enough to really. I don't want to give them any praise.
Despicable Me?
No, they did.
No, that's Illumination.
Yeah, that's Illumination as well.
Oh, that's all Illumination?
Yeah.
That's all
I like.
Yeah, that's all.
So I like Despicable Me. but that's probably the only thing I've actually seen by them and enjoyed.
Yeah. So, like, I think the big thing, like, outside of the Mario movie, it's like everything from Illumination has just been fine.
Yeah, just fine. Yeah.
Nothing groundbreaking. Just fine.
No.
They're and like each of the movies from Illumination that I've personally watched have had some level of merit to them that I've like found enjoyable, but they're not anything I would just go out of my way to recommend. Like
right.
For DreamWorks or something.
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna see me recommending the Despicable Me series like I would like How to Train Your Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. They also did the Grinch and the Lorax.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. They've definitely been on a little more on it when it comes to in terms of like those kind of things too.
Mm-hmm.
Did they do Horton Hears a Who?
Yes.
Yeah, I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty. Yeah.
I've only seen clips of it, but from the clips I've seen, I've liked.
Yeah, it's like the Horton Hears a Who was like it was definitely entertaining, but again, it was just one of those ones that was fine. It's like I'll watch it once, I'll be content, and I'm like, okay, that's actually pretty cool. But then I'm calling it good. It's one of those things where I don't feel like I could go and watch it again. I think the only ones I've ever rewatched, and it's just purely because I've come across it playing, has been the Secret Life of Pets movies.
That one I didn't care for that at all.
Yeah,
I didn't care. I haven't seen either one.
Yeah, I think you made me watch that because I was having a bad day.
Oh, yep, yeah, because like it's got that like entertaining, goofy humor that like like animal, like animals do this and that, like crazy rabbit thing. But also, it's just one of those things where it's more just if you want to like laugh at something really stupid.
Yeah, but that's pretty much the only time I think we've watched anything of theirs out of.
Yeah. So the big thing though is DreamWorks has been. So DreamWorks went through like such a lull for a bit, and then it's just been having this resurgence with like ever since Last Wish came out.
Right.
Because like
they've always had really good music, like good movie to music.
Yeah, because I think DreamWorks overall has been pretty, for the most part, steady. Like there hasn't been like a crazy dip or increase until like because obviously you have the spike at the Shrek when Shrek first came out.
Shrek.
And then of course again.
Defining thing.
Yeah, like again, and then of course Kung Fu Panda, and then again with How to Train Your Dragon, and then you have like the actual like stratosphere with fucking Last Wish.
Right. Like DreamWorks definitely went through this lull of like they made movies that honestly I considered pretty mediocre like for a while. Like for example, you had the Vivo, that thing with the singing the monkey marmot thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that.
No, Pikachu, that's what he's apparently.
Pikachu,
he looks like a fucking monkey, but anyway. Technicalities aside, you know, like that one, like I watched it and I was like, okay, it's not horrible, but it's not something I'm gonna go out of my way to recommend either. Like I'll show it to people who like might be interested, because like it had its merits, but it's not something I cared to like watch over and over. Then you had stuff like The Bad Guys and The Last Wish, and those were actually really good.
Mm-hmm.
The Bad Guys was one of those ones where I'm like, I was pretty neutral on it, but I could understand where people would like it, because like it was one of those things where they intentionally made it where it's a predictable movie, but that was the entire point of the movie, to be predictable, and they knew exactly where they were going with that, and they used that to their advantage to turn it into a solid movie. I'm like, okay, that's actually pretty good. That's well done. Like, then obviously like Last Wish just came out of fucking nowhere with like this like amazing thing. I'm like, what the hell? Especially after the record Puss in Boots has had as a spinoff. So like I was so apprehensive going into that.
Yeah, because they're either all of them are either meh or trash.
Right. Like you had the the initial Puss in Boots movie, and I was just like, what the hell am I watching?
Yeah, right.
But then Last Wish comes out.
Last Wish is the only one I've seen.
Yeah. Trust me, you don't want to see the others.
It still fucking cracks me up with that meme where it's like because I was that and Avatar Way of Water came out around the same time or the same week or whatever.
Yeah.
And like the constant memes going around, like when you spend X number of decades making a movie and you get killed at the box office by a fucking cat.
Oh yeah, right. For real though.
I mean, more interesting plot.
Right.
That's all I got to say.
Right. Like, don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed Avatar, Way of the Water, but that was more just a thing where like I went in less for plot and more for like seeing the world building behind
100%,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, because Pandora is a very interesting universe. So
Absolutely.
Like, because like they have this entire creation they can work with and expand on, and like I'm glad they're doing that. But when it comes to plot, Last Wish actually was like a really fun one to watch because it had a theme and it actually stuck to it really well too, which was nice.
It just put Pocahontas with extra steps.
Right.
Basically.
But what was I going to talk about?
Yeah.
There was one in particular I was going to bring up. What was it? So we could address Pixar, but they're fused with Disney at this point. So
yeah.
They're essentially one and the same.
I don't even know what to think of them anymore.
I don't know. Pixar, I've definitely become neutral on as well. But you know what I really like is some of the Pixar shorts. I think those are the ones that have really stood out to me. Like what is it? They had like that one, the Dog Days or whatever, and that was like
yes,
that tiny little series, and that was just like a really easygoing, relaxing one that I enjoyed. Like I found it really like just fun to like see Doug, like that like iconic one from Up, the iconic companion from Up. They've had some other ones too, like Piper was actually a surprisingly good short for them, and then they had what's that one with the volcano and whatnot?
It's just called Lava.
Yeah,
Lava. Yeah.
I love that one.
Yeah, Lava was a really nicely done one.
It has music, of course I like it. And it's a cute one.
Yeah, Pixar has definitely created a lot of really nice shorts.
Right.
I also really like the seagull one.
Yeah, I think that's where Pixar's been really shining is their shorts lately.
Yeah, because it's the only thing they can do on their freaking own.
Right.
Everything else is Disney.
The Overlord Disney.
Yeah,
the
right.
Overlords.
What was it? I know I showed it to Emzy. It was like crap. What was it called again? It was like the one with the raccoons.
Oh, I don't remember.
Far from the Tree. There we go.
That's okay. I was like, I can't remember the name, but I know what one you're talking about.
I don't recall. Yeah, it's not a. Oh wait, hold on. Films when Disney. Okay, yeah. So it was somewhat associated with Disney. Yeah, it was.
But it is really good.
So, yeah, and I think.
I see.
And it was a 2D animated, or mostly 2D. Like I feel like Disney, if they started doing little shorts like that as well again, just in general too, I feel like that would be nice too. Because the cool thing about Far From the Tree is it did exactly what I complained about earlier, where they touched on a subject really well. Which is from when it came to Far From the Tree, it was generational trauma.
Or like the dumpling short at the beginning of.
Oh yes.
Yeah, Bow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one's also one that hit me really hard, and I was like.
Yep.
But yeah, when they do stuff like that, that's when I'm like, yes, please keep doing things like that and allowing younger creators to do stuff like that, because that is what we need, is more things that touch on subjects that are harder to touch, but can be done so well.
Yeah, and not only that, but subjects that today are important to learn about too.
Yes.
Like similar to like I said, Far From the Tree, like it touched on generational trauma in a very subtle but nice way.
Right.
And I feel like that's an important lesson for a lot of today's people, especially ones that who are our age anyway. Because let's be real, a lot of us can relate to that whole thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. So that's why I appreciated Far From the Tree. But yeah, I feel like there's a lot more things that even just in shorts, not even full movies, they could really use to teach lessons to people. And like kids as well.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Yeah, speaking of small animals falling out of trees, I forget Warner Brothers is its own thing sometimes. So because I wanted to go back to Owls of Ga'Hoole because that was just Warner Brothers that did that. Warner Brothers Pictures. Again, I always forget they're a thing. Thoughts on them, on Warner Brothers? Do you want more stuff from them? More stuff like Owls of Ga'Hoole? Because I know
so in terms of so obviously I'm the classic book junkie where I think the book was significantly better, but how they did the Owls of Ga'Hoole was actually not bad either.
Right.
And what's nice is they did a thing where they still very much did the classic, this is a lady owl and this is a dude owl. But but at the same time, they did it in a way that was extremely subtle for some of them too.
Yeah, definitely.
Like,
and I feel like with me, who does not know any of the books at all, and does not know the difference between male and female owls just by look, that was nice for me to know. Oh, this is a female owl. This is a male owl. Okay.
Entirely honest, the only thing they really got wrong was that females are bigger than males, not vice versa. That was just about it. And
okay.
Oh yeah.
And there's there's a couple minor differences between different species, obviously, but I mean it's a movie, so I don't really give a shit as much.
Yeah, right.
It's just a fucking movie, dude. You know, I'm not gonna be like an asshole about it.
You have these fictional hyper intelligent owls that wear helmets and battle cloths.
I don't really need to care about the accuracy of owl gender differences.
You're right.
But
harnessing a weird fucking made up metal that messes with their gizzards.
Right.
It's fine.
So that's the thing too. Is they also did it. They did it in a cool way where they also, despite that, they still tried to fit the characters to how they're described in the books in a way. Like for example, Queen Nyra, or the Metalbeak's,
consort. Yeah.
So in the books, she was described as being a exceptionally beautiful owl, and they did it in a way where they basically showed that.
Right. I mean, it made her look a little very striking and appealing to look at. Yeah,
right.
Definitely.
Yeah, they made her basically look beautiful by those owl standards.
Mm-hmm. Oh, don't worry. I'm sure she ticks some box for humans as well.
Yeah, right.
Oh my god.
I think Warner Brothers just kind of sticks to their lane. Like they've got they've got Justice League, so that you got Superman, Batman. They've done that well in the past. They've got Scooby-Doo is a big one for them. Right. But I don't ever see them doing anything new. There's nothing different.
Right.
And if it is different, I don't usually care for it. I don't ever think it's that good.
Honestly, I think the only thing different out of Warner Brothers that I've necessarily cared for as of late has been the MonsterVerse movies.
Yeah. Them and Legendary doing some good work.
Right.
Yes. But yeah, let me see.
And then, honestly, so I forgot they did the DC League of Super Pets, and that was actually a pretty alright one.
Oh, that was them?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, that would track its DC.
Right. It was but also it wasn't necessarily full DC either, so that's kind of where the concern could be there. But it actually was a decent one, so I'll give it that.
Right.
I enjoyed it a bit, and it had its moments, and it definitely had its it was definitely more of an entertainment kind of movie, but it delivered that entertainment. It didn't take itself seriously.
For sure.
It didn't be hey, we're gonna make this into a full-on superhero movie. It's just it's a silly movie about the pets of the superheroes.
Right. Well, since we're on superheroes,
yeah,
I know most of y'all aren't big on the Marvel Cinematic Universe like I am. I mean, it's in the basically everything from the start to Endgame. I'm I was all there for. But
I fell off after Endgame.
Yeah,
I have not seen anything after Endgame.
Yeah,
but I was huge into it prior.
Right. Now, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, that is very fucking good. I would highly recommend that.
That I do need to watch.
I've literally only seen the first Guardians of the Galaxy. I haven't seen any of the other ones.
Galaxy is definitely one I think stood really well.
Yeah, I think none of them they have really flopped at all. Yeah, all of them were pretty consistently good.
The series, of course, have been phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen any of the new Spider-Mans.
Yeah,
you should see Into the Spider-Verse. I haven't seen the second, but the first one I would highly recommend.
My 100%. Spider-Verse series is it's not even a bad thing, it's just a thing. It's is that the Spider-Verse series basically took everything that you could want in a movie that's good and did it. And that's what I really appreciate about the Spider-Verse series.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really hoping they keep to that if they're, as they continue to make more, probably. Because we all know they're going to milk it, but anyway.
Right.
Yeah, it's...
So the only ones... I haven't seen any of the Black Panther movies.
Yeah, I've seen one of them. I forget what it was, but it was pretty good.
But I watched all the Iron Mans. I watched the first Thor.
Okay.
Don't watch the second one.
Don't watch the second one.
No.
Ignore it.
Yeah, that was the Love and
Thunder. Yeah, skip to the third one. Skip to the third one.
I could watch the third one on repeat. I really did like the third one.
The second one was dark.
Once you bring that humor back into it, I mean, Thor was such a drag. He was such a drag.
Right.
And then you bring the humor into it with the third one, and it really kind of leveled that up for me.
100%.
And then I didn't watch Ant-Man. I didn't watch Doctor Strange.
Yeah, there's a lot I haven't watched out of the Marvel universe. Like, I'm not heavily involved in the Marvel, but there are definitely ones that I enjoy enough, like Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers, obviously. I can still watch some of those to this day. But most of the Marvel stuff is like a one shot for me. Like, I'll watch it, and then I'm like, even if it was really good, it's one of those things sometimes where I'm just like, I don't really give a shit anymore.
I could probably watch the second Iron Man multiple times.
Yeah. Like the thing
I don't know why just the second one, but just the second one.
Yeah, Marvel's definitely had those things where like there are some I could watch repeatedly, and most of them though I'm like pretty content with watching them only once, and probably will stick to watching them only once. But I also would give them high praise because they were actually that good.
Right. It's like, and granted, the whole, like, obviously for the majority of them, they couldn't really stand alone by themselves because, again, they were building this interconnected story between all the different films leading up to Infinity War and Endgame, and then of course beyond.
Right.
So of course you're always going to have those dips with certain films here and there.
Yep.
But overall, the goal for them was to make this interconnected, woven story between all the films.
Right.
But I kind of wish they would have set that up sooner than they did.
Well, that's the thing. I think they wasn't initially the plan.
Yeah, it wasn't intended.
Yeah,
definitely
that
not.
was never really the plan to happen. It just happened.
Just kind of fell that way.
And they rolled with it, and they did it in a way that worked, though.
Yeah.
But also because of the way that they did it. There we go. My brain, because the timeline is so fucked, I'm like, what happened when, where?
To be
Which
fair,
like
is
when they
why,
did
thank God, Disney Plus put a timeline order.
Yeah,
Because you cannot keep that shit straight at this point.
Right, and that's because too, with like expansive universe like this, I mean, at the end of the day, you're still gonna lose track anyway, And that's why like it's good having an official canon timeline from the studios or producers and whatnot.
Right. But because like I was watching it in real time with everybody else originally, and then they were like, "Oh, but they are all going to be connected." And I was like, "What?
Yep.
Say what? You did what? No, I'm done. I'm done now. Thank you. That's too much for me."
I do think for a lot of people it became too complex. It became too much to keep track of, and that's where a lot fell off. But for the people who stayed with it,
right, they understood.
I think it paid off.
Yeah. Definitely.
Like, it's not that they're bad movies or that I wouldn't enjoy watching them. Yeah, it was too much. It was overwhelming. If you weren't into the comic books, it was like, what?
Yeah.
There's some people, though, who aren't into the whole universe. A lot of those can just still be standalone movies, and you can still watch them and have a good time.
Right. Yeah. Like, there's still a lot to touch upon. I mean, hell, there's there's a cat in the Green Lantern Corps, or I think it's the Red Lantern or some shit. Corpse, the Lantern Corps is just like an entire system rather than just one person. So it's like they have a friggin' cat in there, like.
Right, you're gonna have to step it back. There's a corpse and a cat and a what? I'm lost. I'm already lost. We're done. Try again.
Yeah.
Another time.
Speaking of DC, what do we? What? Okay, so I'm excluding the animated stuff because again, they're still animated stuff is absolute fire. They have not tripped up on that at all, as far as I'm aware. They've been consistently good.
Yeah.
But I don't even know what they're trying to do with the live action stuff right now because I was like, what was the last thing that came out?
What did come out last?
Was it like the new Batman? Was that their last thing that came out?
Hold on, let's see. I'm looking now.
With
Aquaman is.
Aquaman. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. Again, forgot about it.
Oh my fucking god. Really? Fucking Scooby-Doo and Crypto 2 was apparently one of the most recent ones.
Oh.
And then the Justice League Ruby Super.
Blue Beetle too.
Blue Beetle, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so it's
the Blue Beetle looks interesting to me.
It's like, but again, as far as their live action stuff, it's like it's just not really.
But it doesn't really hit.
Radar.
Yeah.
Their live action stuff doesn't really hit.
Yeah, my gripe with with some of the recent DC movies has just been like the hard pandering to about a lot of like social politics and stuff, and like and that's kind of why I've had like such an aversion to like giving a shit about them. They've been going way too hard. I'm like, there's a fine line between integrating that kind of thing into the movie versus just being way too excessive and forcing it down your throat. And at that point, like when they, what they're doing is they're forcing down your throat, and I'm like, now it's just getting boring.
Yeah, right. Like again, that's why I just stick to the animated stuff.
Right.
That shit's fire.
Yeah. See, now I need to fucking watch Scooby Doo and Crypto too.
Do we have to?
Don't worry, I'll leave you my review later.
I'll watch it with you.
Yeah.
But like Nick and I grew up with Justice League.
Right.
Yeah.
A cartoon, and that was a great show.
Oh my god.
Like that was so worth watching. And then this is what they're coming out with, and it's like, no, thank you.
Right.
Put it back.
Because even the Justice League Ruby crossover, because like just looking at it, just like what, why? But okay, when I watched it, I'm like, I still enjoyed it. I still had fucking fun with it.
Right, and that's my big thing. That's why I constantly go out and try stuff, just regardless of how dumb it may or weird or whatever it may look or how much I may question it. Because like you never know how it could turn out.
Right.
Because
like it's like I like Ruby, I like Justice League, so it's like why do I have misgivings about this? Let me just shut up and watch it. Okay, I had fun.
Right.
Well, because you usually sit there and you're like, these are two completely different kinds of stories, different kinds of like themes.
Yeah,
okay.
I have to keep reminding myself that Warner Brothers owns Rooster Teeth now. So
right.
That's why I was able to have it to begin with.
Yeah. I love how some of their most recent movies were both crossovers. Very strange crossovers, but crossovers.
Yeah. Right. They do love to do that. We own these two things. We can smash them together. Awesome. Let's try to milk as much money out of these fucking idiots as possible.
Right.
Let's do it.
I'm like casually looking at previews for the like whole Scooby Doo and Crypto 2 now thing. Like,
you're all in on this now.
See now
he watches crappy movies for fun.
I get it. Everybody's gonna have to sit down and watch it. Podcast episode number 5. Give you a review.
Yeah, right. And weirdly enough, they're actually they're using like a sort of like similar, not like super old, but like the animation style for the movie is somewhat like almost like that slightly older feel, like early 2000s feel to it. I'm like, you know what? Not bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's like got that early 2000s like animation feel.
Yeah, let me.
Like it's still, it's still kind of nostalgic, but it's not, but it's still
fresh. Yeah. So like it's there, but like still kind of upscaled a little bit more.
Yeah, you can see little aspects of like newer age animation involved.
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like TV show kind of.
Yeah, like TV show.
Scooby Doo.
Yeah, like the TV show basically.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I mean, it looks like a wild fucking ride, but
they usually are.
It's like I'm scrolling through the screenshots and I'm like seeing like because obviously they got like the it's some of the villains they got in there. Cause obviously Joker, Harley Quinn, God damn it, Solomon Grundy, Giganta. Why Giganta?
Right?
Because why not?
They have so much going on in the preview I watched just now. I'm like, what in the world?
It's like, and I think General Zod and two of his goons are there too. What the fuck?
Right? I'm like, you know what? I'll go in. I'll leave my review later on whenever I watch it. Who knows? Might be weirdly good.
Yeah, right.
Like. You never know these days, though.
Oh, so funny.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm going to just send this to you personally because it's like, well, it's that whole thing I mentioned with the fucking cat and the Red Lantern Corporation.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Dex Star.
Yes.
Oh.
I love how the cat is one of the deadliest one of the Red Lantern group.
Like, well, of course.
Why wouldn't he
be? Yeah, right. He is an apex predator, I guess. One of the most lethal creatures on planet Earth.
You're right.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, like they
whatever.
actually have just a cat as like a member of the Red Lantern Corps.
Whatever works, I guess. That's too much information for my brain to handle today.
Fuck, dude.
The fact he has that line, I find one who hurt you, I kill, I good kitty.
Yeah, literally the first one I read. I'm like, all right.
Oh, boy.
Oh, that's amazing.
Anything else you'd like to talk about, Nick?
Well, let's see. All right, let's pivot to something a little more a little more serious, a little more personal to our lives.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
All right.
Go get another Pepsi.
You mean a Peppy?
Peepsy.
So, how to start this? So, I guess Pangu and I would be the only exclusions here when it comes to good relationships with our parents. So, but I'm thinking like specifically on the lines of what? Okay, not necessarily your parents, but like a mentor figure who have like been a real like giving you like lots of giving you forms of encouragement from them. Like they've like really been batting for you, like just kind of like helping you to know grow into whoever you're going to be in life. Ever is there anyone you can think of that has been like that to you in the past or even currently?
Oh, that's definitely Omega for me.
Oh, really?
And it just very conveniently happens to be that he is older than me, but like that's about it.
Okay.
But yeah, no. I mean, like I've barely had anyone even in my own family, so.
Okay. Well, like, what, can you like point out any specific instances where he's done that for you?
Oh, yeah, it's been there's been a lot of life lessons I've learned from a lot of small stuff. Most of the stuff, to be fair, I have had to learn on my own or just like develop for myself. But
right,
like he and I have like this interesting give and take situation where we like teach each other a lot.
Okay.
And we exchange different lessons. But he's definitely helped me with a lot of things, like just like some of it just being ways how to handle like certain people who are like really annoying and stuff, and like just that kind of stuff.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, MZ.
I'm trying to think.
I'm trying to think.
Well, like it's gonna sound really nerdy because I'm really nerdy. A lot of my teachers, like specifically my 4th and 5th grade teacher, was really influential to me.
Yeah.
She was more like a grandparent in a way.
Yeah.
She recognized that one, I could read at a level that was way above my peers really early on.
Yeah.
Right.
So she made sure that I got into lessons that I could read books that were more appropriate to my reading level. She made sure that I had time to do things. She would talk to me and give me hugs and like make sure that I was okay.
Right.
Especially when I was like definitely emotionally misregulated in class.
Yeah.
And when I found out that she had breast cancer after I left elementary school, that was pretty devastating.
Yeah.
I have coworkers that are like big sisters and friends and that I've worked with now for almost a decade that are they talk me through when I'm having issues at work.
Yeah.
Why am I not surprised that MZ has like several?
People for some reason I am either somebody's little sister or I am somebody's like niece or child or something. People like to take care of me and I don't understand it because normally I'm the one that's taking care of people, but like some reason I tend to have work mothers and sisters and I don't, it's whatever. But then we also have Tick, who's basically he calls me out on my bullshit a lot.
Yeah. I'm like the young mentor.
It happens.
Like technically I should be the older one here, but it's fine.
Yeah, right.
I don't know about that. Sometimes you definitely are the younger one.
See, and the thing you don't realize there, though, I think sometimes is that I do that by choice, though, because I just don't care. It's not about being the better person most of the time for me. It's just about being the person.
just living my truth, bro.
Yeah. I'm here for a good time, not a long time.
Yeah.
Pangu, you got any?
Okay, I come from, at least on my dad's side, which is where I am closest to,
right,
versus my mother's, a large and very, very close family.
Mm-hmm.
My dad is one of 7.
Yeah.
I've got 6 aunts just on that side alone.
Okay.
And this is the type of family who you celebrate every birthday, every holiday, every big event. No, it does not have to be anything wild.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody always gets their time. Everybody's always heard.
Mm-hmm. I
see them every week, if not multiple times a week. We're all within like 20 minutes of each other.
Yeah.
So
that's my mom's side.
You grow up with this very vast support system where surprisingly everybody truly does like get along and have their place.
Yeah.
Now you're gonna have tiffs every now and then, but what family doesn't?
Yeah.
Okay, so you essentially have a fucking stacked as hell support network.
Yes.
You basically have a very close family. You're what humans were quite literally evolved to have.
You're right.
You are specifically the epitome of what humanity is supposed to be.
If you need something, it doesn't matter what it is.
Right.
I know that there are people that I can go to who maybe not without question, but without thinking they would help you.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what it is.
Right.
So I know that I'm always taken care of and I'm always safe and I always have people to go to. Am I the type of person who always opens up and goes to them? No, because that is very, very hard for me. Talking about my feelings and things that I need is not always the hardest thing for me. But I know at the end of the day, if I needed to,
you could.
That family is always going to be there.
Right.
100%. Okay.
So my family is close, and technically I could ask them for things. Especially my mom's side. We all live within 15 minutes of each other. But I am not comfortable asking them for things.
Yeah.
So I get that.
I think maybe you and I are the same on that, where it's not that we couldn't ask, it's you don't want to burden somebody else with asking.
Oh yeah,
sometimes
100%.
That's a big part of it.
Yeah,
100%.
See, the funniest thing is, I have that same sensation, but that's because my family went about it in a different way, where everything is a burden as far as they're concerned. When you ask.
Oh yeah.
And that should not be the normal.
Like it's funny, like how the same mindset can be developed from two vastly different means.
Mm-hmm. But even aside from family, there have been friendships, both old and new, that have come into my life that have really molded and maybe more so solidified how I already feel and how I already act. Because even with people around my age here, like my coworkers, people I come across to at work, I don't always fit in with that particular crowd. There's always something about me and the way I think and the way I act and the way I feel that is always a little bit different.
Yeah,
right.
It's hard to find people who truly can understand and relate to you without question or without explanation.
Yeah.
But at least when it comes to the family, I might not always need to give it.
Right. Because
there is, for a good portion of them, always some level of acceptance and support.
Yeah.
Now, with some very close members, I know there is going to always be support. The things that I think or feel, and then you just have to kind of internalize it, because I'm not one to start conflict. I am conflict avoidant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
nah.
Incredibly. But it's taken a really long time to realize that's okay. Like, that's not going to stop me from loving caring for my family, and hopefully not them for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you just have to accept that some people aren't going to change. Some people are going to be different. But to me, that doesn't matter. They're my family, and we would do anything for anybody. So that moral support is like eternal.
To get over differences.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
that's hard for a lot of.
Yeah.
That's hard for a lot of people, like our parents' generation.
Right.
Because things are so different now
than
what they were when they grew up. Coming to terms with those changes is very hard. Yeah. And sometimes they're just set in their ways.
Right.
They're just set in their ways, and that's just the way it is. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm far more willing than like my parents, especially.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
To accept differences in culture and different
Yeah, it's like, please give me change. Same is boring.
Right.
I don't always care for change, but it's come very, very, very long way in being able to accept it.
Yeah.
But
like there are changes
everybody's going to change.
Yeah, like there's always going to be changes that I may not agree with, but at the same time, it's like basically every single time it's something I don't agree with, it's also not something that's affecting me personally, so I don't give a shit in the end. Like whatever, it's a change. I don't really care for it. I don't necessarily agree with it. It seems dumb, but whatever. It ain't affecting me, so have fun.
Yeah, I don't like change. It stresses me out.
See, I'm surprised
but it's
MZ's not the cat owner of the group. You are literally just a cat by saying that. Trust me when I say you are like cats hate change too. So there are some cats who are so aversive to change they will actually have to go to the vet because they start puking and shit and like getting all like urinary stones and stuff.
You mean stress puking? I've done that.
Okay. So see, you're a cat.
There you
go. I am essentially a cat. No wonder Pangu likes me so much. Yeah.
That was not brought up at the beginning of the podcast. I'm just the stereotypical cat lady of the group.
Yeah.
It's like we'll have full confirmation next year at the cookout if MC starts making biscuits on Pangu.
MC, be careful you make your biscuits.
So I don't like change. It stresses me out, but I'm not.
You can recognize when it's necessary.
Yeah.
Yes, it's one of those things. Like as long as you give me time and like communicate with me and let me process it, I will be okay.
Yeah.
It's when it's like sudden and you don't give me time to sit and like figure it out that I'm like, nope, this ain't good. I'm gonna cry. Yeah, I'm not gonna handle this well.
See, like that's where I'm kind of glad I have the level of adaptability and flexibility I have, is because like you're never gonna have a situation where you're always gonna fully be prepared for change. Like a lot of time, like a lot of the time, changes happen just on a whim because the world says it's gonna happen.
Right, but it's more the give me the time to walk away.
Yeah.
So that I can think about it.
Yeah, well, keep in mind, I'm not talking about just interpersonal relationships too between humans alone, but like things in general, like the overall, topic of change as a whole. Sometimes you're not going to be able to walk away or do any of those things. You're just going to have to like sit there and probably go through your little steps and then call it good or something.
Yeah, face it and adapt. Yeah.
Some change is like a thing where you have to adapt or you're just going to suffer from it.
I can do it at work for the most part.
Like not all, obviously, but like there are some situations where it's like that's why I'm glad I'm very flexible and adaptable to that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
To where I'm not stressing over something I just realistically don't need to stress over.
I wish I could turn off my brain. I wish that's how I worked.
I mean, that's the thing. It's not that I turn off my brain. My brain's on, but I just have it on in a way that I'm allowed.
Oh, no. I'm just saying me.
That, yeah.
Me personally, I wish I could just turn my anxiety brain off and do that. It does not work that way for me.
Also, that's a big thing too. Is like with anxiety, like the tough part is like. It doesn't help that things are changing, though, in a very negative way these days. Constantly. Like, one moment, so, it's fucking COVID, and the next thing you know, it's, like, some other stupid shit, like, economy's crashing. Next week, it's, like, eggs are, like, $10 an egg.
There are reasons why I don't look at the news every day.
Well, it doesn't help that the news is fucking panders to the fear as well.
Right.
Oh yeah, no. Like, that's why I tailor the way that I look at the news.
Right.
Not to avoid negative things, but the way that they're presented.
Right. Because like at that point, like especially for people like you, where like you don't like think rationally right off the bat, then suddenly like watching those things will definitely get to you. Whereas for people like me who just like it's all rational, I'm just like, oh gosh, this again.
Here we go. Oh shit, here we go again. It's like, another day.
Yeah. Gosh.
But
whoever like uncovered that fucking coffin and unleashed 1,000 curses upon the earth, they need to stop.
It's like, for fuck's sake, put the lid back on Pandora.
Right. For real though. Everything's going to shit. Stop.
Or that Hellstone in Japan.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But I want to double back to parent/mentor figures before we get too far.
Right.
So in my case, well, I've certainly again, I absolutely lucked out with the parents that I got, like, especially compared to the rest of the family. I know I talked about it before, no off podcast, but
sure.
but yeah, again, they're both very, very intelligent, smart people. No, they got their shit together, very responsible.
Yeah.
And no, just
the planned baby.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the planned baby.
Right.
The one baby.
Right, they gave me, crap ton of opportunities growing up. I got to do a whole bunch of different things, so like very, very appreciative of that. But well, I've certainly learned a lot from them. I wouldn't consider them mentors in any way,
right?
And I think that it stems from, again, I don't know how I turned out the way I did. I don't know what random fucking neuron went in what fucking direction.
Yeah.
But I just I have nothing in common with my parents. I have nothing in common with the rest of my extended family. It's like I don't know why. And again, growing up, spent very, very similar to Pangu's, like very close knit. Spent a lot of time with them. Was always doing a bunch of birthdays, the holiday shit.
Yeah.
Right. And I always enjoyed spending time with them. Growing up. But as I was getting into late teen, eventually adulthood. It's just like
right.
Like every family get together is just like, okay, how long until I can leave? I'm sorry, all I care about is y'all are happy living your lives, you're healthy, good, okay, that's all I needed. Bye, I'm out.
Right.
It's like I don't care about what else you got going on. But but as far as as far as I think probably the only closest one I can think of was an old manager, Saul, from back when I worked at Petco. Yes, his name is Saul, S-O-L. Good old Saul Griffin, who has a white son, a black son, and an Asian son. Yep. Don't ask me how that happened. I can't exactly remember.
Just collecting them all, I guess.
You're right.
Pokemon trainer.
Yeah, right.
Right. But just a middle-aged, fat white dude with glasses. I could absolutely see him as a fucking Peter Griffin from an alternate universe, 100%. Dude loved his dad jokes, but
Yep.
but yeah, he definitely imparted a lot of good, just obviously a lot of lessons in the workforce because I didn't retail and things like that and of that nature, but definitely some very useful life lessons here and there.
Yep.
During the few years I worked with him at Petco and then again at Safe Light.
Right.
But because I remember one particular conversation because he asked me, I don't know why we were talking about mentors and shit, but because he asked me oh, my parents are mentors to you, and I'm like, fuck no, and he's like, oh geez, all right, shit on them, I guess. But yeah, for the most part, I'm definitely in the same boat as Tick, where it's kind of I had to figure a lot of that shit out on my own.
Yeah.
Again, which is odd because again, I had a strong support network like Pangu did, but it's again, I think it was just from me not being able to, what's the word I'm looking for?
Relate.
Yes, thank you. Not being able to relate with any of them at all.
Right.
It's the only thing we had in common was our skin color. That was it.
Right.
There's a good difference, generational difference too, between what we have access to and what they have access to, which allows us to be able to communicate with so many different types of people from different backgrounds and different viewpoints.
Right. We get
I think it's easier for us to be able to, we can form our own.
Well, no, I was just gonna say
you get that base. You get that base from your family, your upbringing.
Right.
But then you have all of these influences coming in, and you're able to mold yourself to who you truly want to be.
Yeah,
and you get to pick and choose those influences that you have.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why a good bit of those like close people in my life, close friends who I've honestly never met in person, who have still been a big influence on me to shape who I am. In addition to just reinforcing or maybe even shattering up on.
But
depending.
also, I think there might be a little bit of a difference gender-wise too, because I feel like the way that girls are raised is a little bit different than how boys are raised.
Yeah.
So, like, the different ways we connect with our families also kind of forms.
Yeah, you naturally more connect with people in general on an emotional level. It's easier for you to do that on an emotional level.
Right. And
yeah.
Like
not for everybody.
Yeah, women.
Not for everyone, but I'm just saying.
For most.
The typical way I notice is like men are constantly, like encouraged to be strictly independent, while the women are taught constantly to be more dependent on others, or just more willing to like open up to others, or like rely and like go to others.
Or at least communicate.
Shows, yeah. Or, minimal, just communicate.
So,
the idea
of
part of that is upbringing. A lot of it is also just straight up genetics as well. It's like it's how we've evolved for thousands of
we're
years.
still a fucking species of like mammal,
Right.
Like go down the classification list, we are effectively just a animal, just a very advanced one, is all.
Right. I think like if we take away our intelligence, we're only like what, a pig level, maybe slightly above pig level.
Yeah, something like that. It's like, there is like social differences among genders in various different species across the globe.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we're still subject to our nature in the end of the day, like it or not.
Right.
So there are some things, but obviously we have the intelligence and capability to override that too, and decide whether we want to fall into that. So that's a good thing as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's just when you live in a world where you're influenced to, follow those norms, then it definitely, and then also with that fact, the biology part of it, it definitely creates that situation. That really tough situation.
What were you saying, MZ?
Well, I was just saying the reason why I brought that up was because you were saying you were lacking that connection, and I was thinking, well, maybe that was partly because of the way you were raised, partly because of maybe biologically you're not really meant to stick around anyway.
Right, like we've evolved, but we're still
but still there's like the base instinct of like, I'm not really meant to be here anyway. Let's go.
There's always going to be those base instincts and other things in every single animal on the face of the earth, no matter how smart and cognitive and stuff they are. But
because
like I said, we have the ability to override that. We just need the encouragement to, like enhance all that ability and follow through with it.
Right. Yeah. Because again, going back to my family, in general, because like again, we're very close knit and like spent a lot of time together doing shit, growing up and shit like that. I mean, but again, by the time I reached adulthood, and was like, even with my cousins who were like my age or around the same age as me, again, I you're alive. You're living your life. Okay, you're good. Okay, bye.
Right.
That's all I need.
Yeah.
Are you breathing? Yes. Okay.
Right.
Because I just know in my family, for instance, we were basically always taught we needed to be around you need to be around your network at all times. Like, be around your family. Your family's that's going to support you. We're the only ones that are going to take care of you. Like, that is your safety net.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, as men, we don't get to hear that as much. We usually hear, just protect others, basically, and that's it. And then you never really get the whole rely on others and, like, understand this network is here for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was my whole life was, we're your family, we're going to take care of you. We're the only ones that are going to be here for you if something happens.
Right.
Like yes, please. Please support yourself. Like, make sure you can make enough money to be on your own if you need to. But this is your safety net.
Yeah.
And don't call me out, Pango. I don't need it right now. You're supposed to be on my side, dang it.
Yes.
I am a neutral party, MZ. I am the one who could go either way.
Said you were going to join.
I could either side with the girls or I could side with the boys. It depends.
Mm-hmm.
But
Meanie.
well, let's.
MZ, that's just your hormones talking.
You're right.
Yeah, right.
So mean to me.
See, now you have no say in it because another woman called you out about it.
But
yeah.
let's kind of doubling back to parents in general here. So I think I'm sure I mentioned it before, and I think we all have this issue to varying degrees. So, but again, just dealing with the same. I think Pego touched it earlier as well. With the generational differences, and like you have so many of our boomer Gen X parents trying to like, no, do it this way, like gotta do it this way to be successful in life. Is like, okay, that worked 30, 40 fucking years ago. It doesn't work now.
Right. Because like our world is changing in a different way.
Right.
Oh God, I had this argument with my mother not that long ago.
Because like, and it's particularly, I know it's frustrating for everybody. It's particularly frustrating for me because I know how smart my parents are.
Yeah.
It's like, and I know how much they keep up with the news.
Yeah.
So it baffles me how where are they having this disconnect? How are they not seeing? How are they not seeing that?
I think a lot of that comes from the biases that they were brought up with, unfortunately or not.
Because again, they didn't have the same access to information we do now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like
but again, there's that. But like again, but again, like I mean, I wouldn't say they're like our level of tech savvy, but I know my dad in particular is definitely tech savvy enough where he should not be ignorant to this shit.
Right. You know, like that's the thing too. Is like I do agree. There's instances where there's honestly no real excuse.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like in anything that would be said for it, I believe realistically just is an excuse. I'll be frank. But,
right.
You know, it's like also there is definitely a lot of situations where like I can understand why the case is. But there's also plenty of other times where I like don't get it. I'm just like, no, this makes no sense whatsoever. No matter how I put it.
It's like you should, because again, my dad is like tech savvy. Like he's always keeping up on the news in his spare time, and it's like that's what he does. He's right. If he's not doing something with the dog, or exercising, he's on his tablet doing shit. All right. And my mom works for fucking Northrop Grumman, a government contractor, right? So again.
Oh hey, I send stuff to her company all the time.
You do what?
I send stuff to her company all the time.
But yeah, because like there's that, and of course, especially for my mom, be like, "Hey, give me grandkids." So like, no. Do you know how much it costs?
Right.
For one,
like on just to have a baby in the U.S. on average, you're looking between
like $20,000
$50 to $70,000, $50 to $70K.
No, just to have the
baby, just to have the kid. Yes. Just to go to the hospital and push it out of you.
I thought it was still 20,000. I guess
no.
It's in the last
let me go
couple years.
Okay, so how much does it cost to have a baby? 2023. All right. So let's see here.
I guess it bumped up to the last couple years since I've Googled it last.
Come on, where's the fucking total? Son of a bitch. Average cost for childbirth. Okay, 18K. Then the vaginal delivery, 14K. Cesarean is 26.
If you're lucky, it's going to be a vaginal delivery. You're lucky you don't have a emergency C-section or planned C-section.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like it's wild though.
Yeah, because between that, like all the various bills, the medications, and whatever. Then if you're numbing, whatever. If you need a NICU for the baby.
Yeah, because like
right.
I know. Just looking up from my state, which is Pennsylvania, the average price is still under $20,000. It's roughly $19,700.
Okay.
According
it's still
to this.
Expensive.
Yes.
But
let's see. Okay, so here's Maine. We're looking at no shit. Oh, no wonder my brother has two of them. Little fucker. Average cost an average
dirt cheap over there.
Yeah, cost an average of 9K.
Wow.
In hospitals in Maine. Jeez.
Blue state.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. So like, and that's the big thing too. Is like, so my big thing with like the whole blue state red state issue is like there are definitely things that each state, or each color has a merit with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I googled Virginia real quick, and so it said 14,000, but of course, directly after that does not include prenatal care, postpartum care, newborn care, or additional costs of cesarean birth, blah 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 blah. So I'm like,
Right.
Piece of shit.
Yeah, but it's expensive to have a kid. For one, my mother actually was bringing up the prices of houses and how she can't understand how anybody can afford to have a house. Mm-hmm. And I was like, we can't. That's why I'm stuck in the house with you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Now, the big thing with Maine, however, is the child care costs are what gonna kill you in Maine.
Yeah.
Like, it's cheap for the initial birth, not as bad as 15
but as
far
as
but the
as far as
child care
education,
is gonna cost you several
that,
hundred a month.
For some of the families, the patients that I have talked to at work, because I get to see a whole wide range of people.
Right.
Some of these couples, truly one of the couples has to give up their job, become a stay-at-home parent, because it is cheaper.
Yep.
It is cheaper to stay at home to take care of your child than to put your child into childcare.
Yeah, right.
One of my old coworkers had to switch positions so that she could be off on Fridays, work Friday at the daycare that her kids are in, so that she could get a discount at the daycare that her kids are in. So she works 6 days a week.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yep, same thing with one of my route managers who had his son, his first kid a year or two ago, and sure enough, when he was old enough to start going to daycare, it would fucking kill them over.
Right. And it's like, even if I did want kids, I wouldn't have one at this point. But I thankfully do not want kids ever.
Yeah, right. Because
I want one. I don't think I could afford one.
But you can't afford one, and your body won't let you.
Yeah.
My body will not let me.
Yeah, and he's the outlier of the four of us who truly does want to have a family.
And even if you did have a body that would allow it, you still wouldn't be able to afford one in this day and age.
Mm-mm.
I think there are a lot of things that women need to think about prior to going into it.
Yeah.
I get this, and I've talked about it many times. I get this at least once or twice a week from people at work that I will change my mind.
No.
Oh my god.
This is the mind.
I fucking hate that. Oh my god.
This is the mind of somebody that has been made up since I was probably in single digits of age, prior to any of my current health problems that I have. But in addition to just truly that is just not meant for me.
Right.
It would be a very poor decision, one, to bring a child into burning earth.
Yes. See,
and then you add the health problems on top of it that a lot of people have to experience these days. I'm a type 1 diabetic, so being able to maintain a pregnancy, you're immediately high risk.
Right.
Yeah.
I have PCOS, which MC can relate to. The chances of getting pregnant, of ovulating properly, getting pregnant, keeping the pregnancy are very, very rare. It can happen, but that is a second high risk.
Right.
Yeah.
So you get these societal norms.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
People by my age, you should have had 2 kids by now. No, my society is different than your society. What I want is different than what you want. It is a completely different world.
Right.
Yeah, because I don't understand why.
That's not even including the cost.
Yeah,
what's great?
Yeah, because I don't understand why they can't accept accept the fact that it's okay to not follow that path in life. It is okay. Not everyone has to do this thing. We have more than enough people on the planet. We're not going to go extinct. Okay.
Now I don't have that. I don't have that like you do, Nick, where your mom is really really wants grandkids, right? Mm-hmm. Nobody in my family has ever pushed me. Like my mom never wanted to be a grandmother.
You're so fortunate.
Most of my aunts are childless. They don't have partners. They don't have kids. So that's very normal in my family to not.
Wow.
But talking to other people, probably between 50 and 70, it's that different mindset. They just can't fathom why you wouldn't want to do that.
Right.
Well, women probably weren't working to the extent that they were, back then, as they are now.
100%. Yeah,
that's a big part of it.
Back then, you could take care of your kid with 2 cents and a goat. Nowadays, you need like $1,000.
You can support a
village, literally.
You can support a family of 10 with one paycheck.
Right.
So
I can't even support myself with one paycheck.
Right.
So my family doesn't push me to have kids. Nobody pushes me to have kids.
Yeah.
When I say I want a kid, they're like, "Well, why don't you go get a relationship? Why don't you go do this? Why don't you just go to the sperm bank?" And I'm like, one,
as it is.
Right.
I'm like, for one, that's really expensive. Two,
Yeah.
it's hard to find a relationship. Three, I have PCOS. It's next to impossible for me to get pregnant. And then they go, "Oh, I know somebody who had PCOS and they got pregnant real easy." And I'm like,
that's great. That's one
great.
fucking example.
Right.
I'm like,
my mom had it.
You forgot number 4. You're an insensitive bastard. Now shut up.
Yeah.
Right.
my mom has it. My mother was pregnant 4 times.
Yep.
but like,
I only have one brother. There were 2 failed pregnancies, 2 miscarriages in between. I mean, that's a 50-50. Like, you're gonna make it or you're not gonna make it. At least with, those aren't always the best odds when you're talking about another living human being.
Yeah.
right. And I know so many women in my workforce, like that I work with, and that I just know personally, that have had miscarriages, multiple miscarriages,
Right.
and it's devastating. And I don't want to risk that.
Yeah, especially with how emotional you are, I wouldn't be surprised if you had to like be sent to a actual facility and not kill yourself.
You're right.
Oh, I mean, like my boss at work, the therapist at work, she has probably had 5 losses.
Yep.
Her first pregnancy was successful. She ended up, I believe, having 3 miscarriages, and then she had 2 ectopic pregnancies. One which burst her fallopian tube, and she was bleeding internally, and she had to go have emergency surgery to get it removed.
Yep.
Goddamn.
And that's in a healthy individual.
Right.
Without problems, right?
Right. Which is
So,
very
like,
far and few in between these days. Like, because like with the way the world is, like health issues are just popping up left and right because we have such a shitty lifestyle that we can barely afford to take care of ourselves in a way that we used to be able to, or our parents used to be able to. So health is on a huge decline.
But like,
And the constant stress of like what the world caving in on us ain't helping either.
but like the idea that people are just like, "Oh, it'll be fine. It'll be easy." No. No.
Right.
It's like, oh, just
Don't
work
say that
harder.
to me.
I'm like,
Yeah, even if you wanted it, it is not easy.
Right.
Like, I really wish people would stop telling me that it's easy to just go do all these things, because it's not.
It's really not. Like, even just simply getting a job anymore is like super hard. Like, you could literally go to McDonald's and have like a very high chance of still not getting a job there, even though it's just fucking, you flip burgers at McDonald's. Like, very easy jobs still. Like, and the worst part is, it's because like a lot of them just like they see, it's like they don't even look at shit, and they just like, "Oh yeah, sorry, we're you're rejected. Thanks though."
yeah, because
like,
one of my friends that my parents love to bring up in particular, who I've known forever, go back to high school, but I think I mentioned her on here before or outside of the podcast, but again, she went to Virginia. No, not Virginia Tech. William & Mary. She went to William & Mary. No, I think she got her bachelor's in something. I don't remember what. She works for some decent-sized company. They do a lot of survey work for like oil companies and other construction companies, things like that, and makes hella bank. She makes fucking bank, and she's often flown out to different parts of the country to do work out there. So like she's not hurting for cash.
Right.
But my parents love to bring her up. It's like, yeah, like, see what your friend Tess, like, she got a degree and da-da-da, you need to know falls. This is like, okay, let me put a little perspective on you here. So she did all that, has a good paying job. She had built a nest egg to buy her current place.
Right.
Now, with the I don't have exact numbers on how much money she makes, but again, I just know she makes a lot. All she could afford to buy was, it's technically a condo, but it's just a glorified fucking apartment. Okay, right. It's just a glorified 2-bedroom apartment with like a small little loft upstairs. Right? With how much money she should, if this was 30 years ago, she would have been to buy like a fucking huge ass house.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, like a 5-bedroom house with like 3 bathrooms.
It's like, I try to like tell my parents, like, do you not see the issue? Do you see what I'm trying to get at here?
Right.
It's like, and she wasn't able to pay. Completely buy this condo wholesale. Like, she's gonna be paying it off for the next several years too, with the mortgage and everything. Right.
I mean, that depends on your geographical location, where you live. What the cost is in that particular
of course, there be some
state.
variance depending on where you live, of course. Yeah.
But things have gone up so exponentially, and then you want to look at as far as us in the United States, the cost of everything is going up. Our health is declining.
Right.
You've got now a lower life expectancy, I believe, now than you did.
I think it's leaning towards that. Yep.
And then going back to having kids, this is going to potentially be a problem as we age. I want to say in the last 15 years, I don't know, I've looked up the statistic, but I believe that childbirth has declined somewhere around 20% in the last 15 years.
Yeah.
So you're getting this aging workforce that is now starting to require more health care.
Right.
They're going to be dying off.
Right.
There's not as many of us to replace what has been lost.
Right.
The cost of everything is going up and up and up. The economy is going down.
Yeah.
I mean, how is that in any way a perfect environment to bring more people into this world when we are already horribly overpopulated?
Right. Like at that point, as far as I'm concerned, that's just cruel to the kid.
Yeah. It's not a good environment.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we joke. There's a reason we joke about offering ourselves so much.
Right. There's a reason like a lot of our generation makes like suicide jokes, and also a reason why like solid like 50% of us are actually serious sometimes about them. But...
What is it? Millennials and Gen Z, I think, are the ones that have the darkest sense of humor.
Yep.
Yes.
It's like, oh my gosh! Like,
I mean, look at what we were given.
Right. You can't. It's hard not to have dark humor when you're given this.
Yeah, thanks a lot, you old fucks.
Like I was trying to explain to my mom.
Get this comment. Oh my god, you get this comment all the time, where we're the generation that has ruined it all. Oh fuck no!
Like, oh y'all just
even throw that in my face.
Now imagine this bunch of toddlers ruining the entire world. How do we do that?
Well, that's the thing I was trying to explain to my mom, because she was like, "Well, the younger generation needs to go out and vote for everything, and like y'all need to band together and do this." And I was like, "Hey, mom, who won the popular vote in 2016?"
Right.
And how many times have we all tried to band together to get things done, and it's just blown up in our face because we can't get people out because the older generation keeps voting everyone in.
Right.
Right. Yeah, like it doesn't help when our choices are fucking dinosaurs, are just nothing but fucking dinosaurs.
Right.
We're like, I can't remember who it was in particular. I don't know if it was a judge or whoever, but like, motherfucker forgot where he fucking was. Right?
Yeah.
He forgot where he was. He had to fucking somebody had to guide him back to get him back on track.
I don't like to get political, and we do not get political here. But look who is running the country.
Right.
Right.
Do you think that bitch knows where he is?
Right.
Most of the day. No.
And it's not like we're trying to be ageist or anything like that. But these people physically cannot do these jobs anymore.
Right.
But that's the thing.
Or not even that they can't. Maybe they shouldn't.
Right.
After a certain
physically and mentally cannot do these jobs
How do you
anymore.
expect, as much as we hate change, how do you expect anything to change when nothing changes?
Right.
And you're not getting new ideas in, and you're not getting a fresh input. Right. And then you're working on this system over and over and over again. Oh, let's try this. Well, guess what? You're trying the same fucking thing. It didn't work the last 100 times.
Right.
It is severely flawed.
Right.
Right. It's in like the most simple form of putting it, in like a simple comparison. It's like the whole dominance theory, which has since been debunked so many times, but people still popularize it to this day. And it's basically the same with how the political situation is going, where you have these people doing the same exact old thing that has honestly, frankly, just been debunked over and over again already by the experiences that have happened, of the people that we put up there, and yet they still keep doing it. Like, continually repeating the same exact mistakes over and over and over again, expecting different results.
Yeah, there's a word for that. What is that? I can't remember. What is that word for that again? It's on the tip of my tongue. What is it? God.
What are you expecting me to answer again?
It's like starts with an I and ends with an MZ. Wait, what?
Shut up. I thought we were not picking on me today. Apparently this is just pick on MZ only.
Just tiny little segment.
Right.
And Pengu's calling me out about not liking change.
But see, like that's the thing. We definitely need something different now. The system we have now ain't working.
Because it makes me think back to like, say, like you go back to whether medieval times or Renaissance, whatever. Because like you have the monarchs, if they were a tyrant or if they clearly didn't have the people's best interests at heart, we fucking kill them. Yes, we cut their heads off.
It was a coup, and now everyone's too afraid to fucking do that.
We slaughtered them and their entire families.
Yeah, right. Well, like people these days will talk big shit, and then the moment you say something slightly offensive to them personally, they start crying and breaking down and throwing a fit and puking and drinking it again, and then puking it back up again. And I'm like,
oh, that's like, too much. Too much. Too much. Back it up. I do not want that mental image. No, thank you. Do not consent.
What about the hangnail? Would you like the hangnail instead?
No, I don't want that
either. But like, it's like we need a situation where it's time to end the old stuff because it's just the old stuff just ain't working anymore.
Yeah. And like, and again, it's not like all their experience is worthless, but like you need to get them out of the driver's seat. You got to get them out of the driver's seat. At this
point, the experiences are more to teach us what we shouldn't be doing anymore.
Exactly.
Most of the time, there's something that I absolutely do agree from a lot of that older stuff that still holds a very good merit to this day and makes sense and works as a system. But a lot of it now is definitely things where it's just like it's a more of a learning lesson of what we shouldn't be doing anymore.
I just want there to be fucking limits. Term limits on things.
A portion of those solutions are outdated.
Right.
Yeah. It's outdated for the current status quo of the world.
Right.
It doesn't apply.
Like I said, with like the whole domineering dogs, it's outdated, but we still keep fucking use it like idiots. Well, a lot of people do. It's like it ain't working, so we got to start changing.
But the problem is the old fucks in seat of power aren't gonna fucking let go.
They're not gonna let go of their power.
Yeah, and like, listen, this is gonna sound really fucked up and conceited to me, but I'm kind of gonna be glad when a lot of them start finally properly dying off because we kind of need that. That's the only way it's gonna stop this system, to be frank. At this point, at least that's how it feels. Like,
like get them off life support, get them off the fucking oxygen for the fuck's sake.
Right, it's like pull the fucking plugs. Like I know it sounds cruel, and I appreciate a lot of what the older generation has provided us as a head start, but now it's just getting fucked up.
It's like, I'm sorry, I need to charge my Switch.
Right? yeah. Oh, so, hold on, my phone's on 1%. I need to double check when my DoorDash is coming. Sorry. Bye, Grandpa.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, old Grandpappy.
Oh my.
I imagine MD just shaking her head.
Yeah, right.
I don't have the energy to shake my head. I'm just sitting.
It's like,
yeah,
see, now I'm trying it's like, yeah. Sorry, audience. We try not to get political, but hey, we got four episodes. So that's something.
Yeah,
4 episodes.
Yeah, right. Well, listen, like, end of the day, politics is never really going to be a thing that has to come up, at some point or another. It's like, it's more about whether you can actually just be respectful about it or not. And like, it sucks that a lot of people can't, but hey, that's on them.
Yeah, because and it's not like there aren't a shortage of people that like want to make the change, but it's again the system is very much against most your average person because again most people want to take steps to make change and improve things, but again we don't have the resources to fucking do it.
Right, we're in a situation where like all we can really do is just sit there while a big sign that says pissed on stands in front of us.
Yeah, because 1%ers are like doing everything they can to keep us docile and and crippling debt to keep us from taking action.
Right, because if we took action, we could take over and take everything back. We have the power to change the system, but they use the vision to avoid doing that.
Right.
To avoid
that. Fuck's sake. Yep. Where are we on time?
Basically almost 2 hours, so we can honestly cut it here.
Oh, neat. Okay.
Yeah, hour 53.
We've got a rant in.
Yeah, we got our rant in.
We got our our political rant in. It's fine. And we talked about media. It's fine.
MZ, let's end on a good note. MZ, give us a good topic.
Yeah.
About what?
Something quick and easy.
I don't know. I don't think about topics. That's good job. I don't. What books are you all reading? That's the only thing I got off the top of my head.
I don't know.
Like,
You think I had the money for this?
There are free PDFs online, Tick. Free PDFs online.
Do you think he knows how to read?
Yeah, right? When did I ever tell you I knew how to read?
Tick, you literally said earlier that books were better than the movies.
Stop putting words in my mouth, thinking I read.
I didn't put words in your mouth. You said words
He had
yourself.
somebody read the book to him.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Did your grandpappy die before he could finish reading books to you?
Yeah.
He pulled the cord, MZ, remember?
Yeah, remember?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
check
the
my
Game Boy.
DoorDash.
Game Boy was dying. You just saw it.
I had to train my
deprived
Pokemon.
himself of books. He deprived himself of books. I hear. Okay.
Yeah, how was I going to get my Pikachu to level 100 without my Game Boys charged?
Look, I don't. It's either that or what cozy video games do you play now? Because like that's all I got off the top of my head.
Nostalgic video games?
No,
Cozy.
Cozy.
You know, they think
Cozy.
like
something you can go back to, just like
cute animals, round chickens.
Like something you can go back to, play mindlessly, just to relax to, whatever. It's like
my go-to is always also my nostalgia game.
What?
Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
Always.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
It brought me back to a very blissful part of my childhood where I had no worries, and you just go. You just go. Explore a whole new fantasy world /
Right.
It's not cutesy, but
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
polygonal Zelda.
Polygonal.
I've never seen more polygons on a woman in my life.
Yeah, right. Oh, she's so sharp.
Just
Zelda,
the way
why
you
are you so
like them.
cute?
Why are you so cute?
Over that Ganondorf, though, he's very obtuse. Very obtuse, Ganondorf.
I don't think I did a lot of like cutesy
Yeah.
games.
The only cozy game I'm playing is whether this cat's gonna bite my dick again or not.
Please let him. Please. I've never laughed harder in my life.
Yeah, right.
You don't need that thing, right?
Yeah, he's not reproducing. It's fine.
Right.
Right?
It's nothing but a glorified chew toy.
Yeah.
But as far as cozy games, yeah, for me, as obviously Skyrim, I'm fucking still. It's like it's a problem because I keep modding it, and like I'll have other games I need to get through, but I just keep going back to Skyrim. I'm never finishing my other shit.
You know what? Okay, maybe because we've been doing it a lot. Any of the Pokemon is always a cozy.
Yeah,
I can just turn my brain off.
Right. I just turn
With
my brain
the-
off and like fucking send my cow at a Blissey.
Right.
Yep.
Well, there you go. I have really liked playing The Wandering Village. I've also really liked playing Little Witch in the Woods.
Yep.
It's also very cute. And you do, like, you walk around and you get little ingredients and you make little potions that you have to go and save people. It's really cute. I really like it.
Yeah. We need to eventually get Fae Farm as well.
We do. That, and there's a new one, what is it? Moon?
Moon. Yeah. Fuck. What is it again?
Moon Island? Moon Village? Moon.
Let's see.
What is it called?
Yeah, I don't know.
Moon
I
Island.
could type. Moonstone Island.
Oh yeah.
Moonstone Island,
Moonstone
yeah.
Island, okay.
Yeah.
It looks very cute and cozy, and I want it. Hi, I like cute games. What can I say? Things with cute graphics.
Because you're cute, MZ.
See, you know what I really need again someday is a game like Okami.
Right.
Oh,
my God,
yeah.
Right? Like, I need something where I'm, not boring old, like, stereotypical human with superpowers. I need to be a fucking celestial goddess wolf.
Right. Or some animal, please.
Right? Just, like, something different. Hell, give me something with a serpent. That would be epic.
like real or mythical animals, but please. Right? Come on.
Right? Like, I don't get me wrong. I enjoy the games I do have that are, like Isle and stuff, but, like, it's just not, it doesn't have that same level of, like, fun that I had with Okami.
Right.
Because, like, I was just, like, more of, like, a sci-fi realism thing where Okami is, like, full
Stray was kind of like that for me.
Yeah, Stray was honestly pretty nice.
I loved Stray. It was a very, like, calming, just casual, like, curl up on the couch experience. And it was very short, but it was very good for what it was.
Yeah. But, like, I definitely...
That is considered a cozy game.
When you're not being stared at by millions of fleshy eyeballs on the walls and little flesh.
I have 8 cats. I'm already stared at by fleshy eyeballs on the wall. It's no different than real life.
Yeah, but like definitely what I really need is just another game like Okami.
Mm-hmm.
I need to finish Okami.
Oh yeah, you do.
Yeah, I remember when so good.
I remember during MZ's birthday bash, I just had her like take the wheel on Okami for the longest time. We were just all sitting there like giving her tips or like watching her play.
It's so fun.
I am very bad at it, but it was very fun.
Right.
I am not a pro gamer, amazingly enough.
I forgot if you got that on PC or not.
I do have it on PC.
Okay, yeah, see, now you just hook up a controller and do the thing.
I also have it on Switch.
Yep.
I did not realize I have it on my Switch.
But
I do in fact have it on my Switch.
Yeah, like the moment I heard it was coming out on Switch, my gosh, the way I got it.
So really all I had to do is bring it down here and find my little what the fuck is it called? The console thing?
The dock?
Yeah, thank you. Look, my ADHD brain on period makes it extra hard for me to remember words.
Is it really that hard? Is it really so hard? Are you sure you're not just trying hard enough?
No, legitimately, I ran into a wall this morning.
Yeah.
Going from my room.
I have heard that period clumsiness is a thing.
Yeah.
I relate, but
I literally was just walking from my room to the bathroom that is 3 feet away.
Did you like cry or something?
No.
I bet the wall cried.
I was gonna say that that just sounds like the time like the other night when Sam like fucking ran into like one of the trucks and then like yelped and ran off to the door back inside.
No. I don't usually cry. I usually just run into shit and fall, and it's annoying. And I forget words a lot, and it's extra bad.
See, now I'm picturing one of those clips where it's like, we have like a shitty, dog owner where like dog gets out of hand, like walking the dog and the dog gets away and starts harassing some other bystander, and the person's just randomly falling over several times for no reason.
Yeah, right. Like literally just pulling like a dream runaway.
Right. It's like, bitch, get up! And the flare's not made of rubber. What's going on? You're on concrete.
Oh boy.
Well, it doesn't help that I also bleed really heavy, so I'm also like borderline anemic right now. So.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, that has been episode 4 of Not With That Attitude.
Yeah, right.
I hope y'all had fun.
Yeah, right.
I love that how you ended.
Oh man.
Oh.
Thank you everybody for stopping by. That is episode number 4. We shall see you again in the next one. Say goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Goodbye.